Hey everybody, I'm here with another episode of OHSF All-Decade Team, and I'm here to introduce to you another defensive back from the list, very important to the list, unanimous. Take it away.
How's it going? My name is Nathaniel HAMLIN, and I'm from Ottawa. I attended St.FX Xavier University in Ottawa, and or St.FX Xavier High School in Ottawa, and also attended Carleton University in Ottawa, and now I play for the Ottawa Red Blacks. So amazing. Staying in Ottawa, born and raised kind of guy, you know.
So, that pathway is very Ottawa, but it's nice to see somebody who's from Ottawa, South Ottawa, went to St.FX High School and moved on up. But before we get into talking about getting into the list and your time in high school football, it's always important to kind of find out people's backgrounds and where they come from, and the growing up in the city of Ottawa. So talk to us about what your football background is in Ottawa and how you got into it.
So my football background in Ottawa actually started as a kid, but I didn't end up playing football on a team for a while, up until I was about 12, 13. So I guess a late kind of start, but not too late. And then I actually took a year off and then came right back to it in high school. So, but growing up, I had a huge influence, basically, my background, because my father, he's a football guy. He played University of North Carolina, ended up playing a year in pro as well. So, and as he was also an Ottawa high school coach for about 30 years. So he definitely a huge influence. I remember being a kid, watching the games, going to practice, training camp, doing everything, So being around it as a kid, it obviously influenced me to finally, when the time was right, I guess, to switch over to football from my other sports that I used to play. So football has been since I started playing that first season. Football has been my main sport, the sport I focus on, and it's the sport I still play today. So yeah.
Quite the pedigree there. I mean, with the dad going to North Carolina, and even yourself, and then your brother as well, who's attending, of course, and we're going to be talking to him at some point. Yeah. But it's pretty cool to see that there's quite that pedigree there from South Ottawa. We've seen quite a few athletes come out of the south of Ottawa and be really successful. Now, of course, you grew up, around that St. Mark's, St.FX area, and then attended St.FX. And so talk to us about that time and attending St.FX High School and, having that football team there and playing in Ottawa high school football. Some positive moments, some constructive moments, maybe some fun moments or things that you remember with your teammates.
So starting off at St.FX, it was a new school. So basically it wasn't it didn't already have a culture in the building. We basically created our own culture. So there wasn't many seniors or, older kids, older group of guys that, knew the way, knew the ropes. We started off, it was a junior program. And there was a lot of grade 9s. We had a lot of younger guys. We probably had maybe like 8 grade 10s on the team. So we started off, it was kind of shaky. We had a shaky season, wasn't the greatest season. A bunch of new guys, coming from different areas. Some guys played together already on their competitive teams and their community teams and whatnot. So, a lot of guys knew each other still. So it was still, we had there was friendship on the team, and, there was things that you need just to, get the ball rolling and stuff like that. But I guess, starting off, the talents might not have been there, having a lack of O linemen, D linemen in football, especially in high school, is definitely a huge thing. So first year wasn't so good, but we had a great team. So we had a lot of guys that wanted to get better. We had a lot of guys that dedicated themselves to the weight room, dedicated themselves to, getting faster, wanting to be better as teammates, wanting to be better individually. So it was a good group of guys to have around, and we actually ended up turning our team around from probably one of the worst teams in the league to a championship team that year in junior. So we had a great group of guys around us, and we had it was a great moment in junior that we had. We ended up playing St. Pete's, probably one of the rival school we had all through high school. It was a pretty good game, great game, close game. We had a lot of fans out and stuff like that. Probably one of my biggest moments at the time, in front of fans and winning the championship. Great moment with the guys. I wouldn't have that one any other way. And then going on, throughout after that, basically we took off. Grade 11, we almost did the same thing. We ended up losing a close semifinals game. I actually didn't play that game. I had a weird eye injury that somebody got me through the helmet. Wasn't able to play that game also. So would love to have that one back, be out there, because I'm also playing both ways, so that's two positions you got to fill, especially when you're playing high school football. And then obviously we went off to grade 12, pretty good year. Again, we beat St. Pete's in the regular season, but then it ended up losing to them in a close game in the championship game. But yeah, like going on with these guys, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like there's still some close friends to this day, some guys that I went on to play university with. And
when you talk about these guys, Nathaniel, you can drop some names. Like these are some names, man. Yeah.
Tunde Adeleke, he still plays today too. He's in the CFL. He plays for Hamilton Tiger Cats. I played along with Didi Valancourt also. Should have had him on the list, I think, maybe, but yeah, he's a pretty good football player. Some other guys too. Actually, my roommate that I live with, Spencer Cates, he was on the team. He ended up playing also on the All-Star game when we were in high school too. So and playing community with him too. So we had a few moments out there. Other guys too. There was I guess Cody Wistaff. He went to Carleton also for a bit. Jordy Edwards also went to Carleton for a bit. There's a few guys out there. I could go on forever, but
absolutely. And I mean, those are some great names. But I mean, at the end of the day, the individual accolades as well for yourself and the team accolades were really what kind of showed that you deserve to be on this list. Speaking of that, I mean, I'm assuming that this would have led to probably some team MVP awards for yourself, and as you said, the AIA All-Star Game and whatnot nominations when they were still doing those back then.
Yeah, a few of the All-Star game, the AIA, that was a fun game. Those great moments. Played around with a few guys in the city, a few guys that play community also. And, guys that you didn't really get to play against because we had the tier 1, tier 2. So being able to join together and, meet some guys or play with some other guys from the city that pretty cool to be able to do that. As far as awards from school, there was a few of those, I guess. Junior, senior athletes and stuff like that. So
that's all good. Yeah. But I mean, of course, that's not the end of your journey, and we all know that. But we'd love to talk about how that took you further. Before we talk about, getting to Carleton and whatnot, can you talk about the recruiting process and how that worked out for you and what was important to you through that recruiting process?
So it was just an interesting, I guess, recruiting process to go with Carleton because it was a new school, same as going to my high school, ST.FX, same kind of process that the new guys everybody would be new. There'd be a lot of first years again, no culture on the team. We'd be building that culture again. So I visited with a few other schools. There was I guess I wasn't really that amazed or anything like that by the schools. Being able to, obviously you want to work hard and maybe beat out some of the older guys. But for me, I loved the opportunity to play right away, just because I knew that being able to step on the field and actually start playing against these older guys that are already in the league, that would be able to bring up, the competitiveness, the drive, and just be able to try and compete on a level the same or even get better than they are. So that one was a huge, I guess, influence in me making that decision to go to Carleton. And also they also, you know, the facilities at Carleton, they were also big on that, big on, you know, a lot of new things going up, having the athletic gym, having you know, new like film rooms and stuff like that. There was a lot of stuff that was going on. I guess the swag wasn't that bad either, you know, having some jerseys and
Those jerseys were
looking
nice
pretty good
for
out there.
a few
Not gonna
years.
lie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
Oh, you got to stop capping the jerseys. Let these guys have 5. Yeah.
Right? You got to,
Yeah.
they had to put some rules down for that, I guess.
Yeah.
So
You guys became Oregon North for a while. That was crazy. Yeah.
yeah.
But that was an easy decision for you. There wasn't really any other factors. It was always Carleton, or was there other things for you?
I guess, well, you know, being able to stay at home too also it was okay with me. Like, I didn't have a problem with that. So, you know, getting home cooked meals, my mom's great in the kitchen. So, you know, that's fine. I'm good with that. But I think it was just really the opportunity to start right away. That was a big thing for me. It was just being able to, you know, even just start a program, start something, which, you know, I enjoy doing. It's not like, you know, if you join a program, you kind of have to, you know, you got to buy into how this might have been, but so it might be a different mold, you know, like in this way, we get to set the mold, we get to set the tone. So I like being able to do that. And basically, you know, also same thing with ST.FX. We started off as a poor team and ended up as a pretty good team, I'd say. When I finally left the team, so it was a pretty good process there.
Sounds like you're really into culture building, you know, and that's cool. That shows a lot of leadership from your end, and clearly that's something that you and Tunde and your brother and who followed and stuff were really getting after it, you know, and that's really important for that. And you know, Didi Vancourt and stuff like that. These are all great names that have gone through these programs. And of course, as you went through Carleton, I'd love for you to talk to us about, you know, your time at Carleton and you know, what that process was like for you. And then also you as everybody knows, or as people might not know, you are with the Red Blacks right now, and talk to us about how people can aspire to get to that level and where you're at that point.
So yeah, at Carleton, there was some ups and downs, obviously, going to Carleton, because you know, we started off, it was pretty shaky, I guess, having a lot of first years on the team, having a lot of guys that haven't played against, you know, people that are, I guess, more mature than you, people that are, you know, bigger, faster, stronger, that have been in the game longer, have had I guess you know, you have different relations when you're there longer with your coaches. So there's different trust levels, there's different, you know, things that you can do. So, you know, as you do get older throughout the years, you gain that same kind of trust level, and you know, just being able to communicate with the coaches in the same way that other guys have when you're playing against them. You know, you can just tell, I guess, you know, when you're a younger guy, you can tell how the team across from you is kind of interacting. The team it's a little bit different. They're on a different kind of playing field, you know, just because of they've been there longer, they've been together. So it's just starting off, it was a little bit shaky, but you know, guys were able to stick together. Guys were able to just continue the battle. Guys didn't want to give up. They didn't want to accept that, you know, this was who we are. We're not going to be this team. So, you know, guys worked pretty hard. And I'd say after the off season, going into that second year, guys were a lot more ready to play. Guys were a lot more, you know, equipped to battle against the same type of, you know, caliber, because that's what we turned into, basically, you know. Yeah. So we wanted to get better. We wanted to grow as a team. So I'd say that's when we started our culture as the Ravens. That's when we our first win was also our first game of the season. So we started off pretty good, basically, you know. It was the first win in like 16 years. So like, we started off well. We were happy. We were ready to go. We were ready to, you know, conquer the rest of the season. The season ended, I think we ended up being 4-4 that season. So like, not bad from an 0-8 start that we had the previous season before. And then I believe, so the next year we actually went into playoffs. We were a 5-3 team, I believe. And I feel like we had a few big wins that year because there was a few teams that we might not have beaten, and I remember beating a few teams that there's some big games. We had some big games the previous year too, but there was a few. I guess there was I remember my second year there was like an undefeated. I don't know if they were undefeated, but there was a really good Windsor team that we ended up beating, and I think we kicked them out of the playoffs or something like that. So that was pretty cool. And then our second year, our third year, we got a lot better then too. And then the fourth year was I think our fourth year we could have gone all the way, but I guess lost focus here and there. Well, we ended up beating a really good Western team first game of the season, which was obviously one of the biggest memories there.
Biggest upset that I remember in recent memory. Absolutely, that was a huge win.
Big win right in front of our home crowd. So, and it's funny because our first game that I ever played, we went down to Western and we got booted around. I think it was like 70-3. So it was good that they came down to our homecoming and we were able to give them something else. So that was
and how amazing was that? You got to build that culture with guys that you played high school with too, right? Like guys like Tunde, and then you ended up getting Didi back from a transfer from Con U, So how amazing was that? You guys start to build that culture and that camaraderie going through there. That sounds like a great time to me. Yeah.
Yeah, not bad. And then obviously, I guess the biggest memories of all time are the Panda games at Carleton. Those are the biggest. Those are the biggest games, basically. Those are the bragging rights for the whole city. So, and you're obviously playing in front of thousands of fans. So your mind is racing. You're just on a different level. And I thought so. Our first year, I thought we did pretty well. Our first game against Ottawa U. It was a closer of our games. We did some good things. Tunde actually set a record for kick returns that I actually tied later on in career, so he's mad about that, but that's okay.
I'll get him on here and have him talk to you about it and see.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we had some great moments there. I'd say one of our greatest games as a first year team. And then obviously for the last 3 years of my career at Carleton, we were able to beat Ottawa U 3 times, and we were at TD Place. So that was great to do that in front of Ottawa. So, that's one of the biggest memories that I have that I remember all the time. So, yeah.
That's honestly, there's nothing that matches that. That's the greatest college football game in Canada right now. There's no doubt about it. I've attended pretty much all of them as I could, and
they've been all pretty crazy. They've all been down to the last wire. The one, the catch that they had at the end that one time, and one time I think it was double or triple overtime that we went in. So.
Yeah, the Bihar catch, the Filoloki catch, the two times you guys ran.
I was front row on that one.
The 2 times they ran trick plays. You guys run that trick play every time, and they scored, and they couldn't figure it out. It was there's been some crazy memories in that. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just keep it going and talk about how you transitioned from Carleton to the pros. How did that go?
Yeah, so basically just trying to follow how everybody else has done it. Finished up my 4th season at Carleton, and I was ready to try and go pro, hit the draft and go play for a team, make some money. So yeah, that went pretty cool. I was so basically the last, I guess, after the season, from like, what is it, November, December, then about began training for the draft, trying to run the 40, trying to run the shuttle, trying to run, get your bench up, do all those things. I was training with Pat Woodcock and Donnie Rios out in Canada at the EPA, and they were getting me into shape. They were doing all that. I thought I had some pretty good numbers, I guess, in the combine. So yeah, that worked. That helped out for sure. They're pretty good guys over there. They get you ready for playing football if anybody wants to go train somewhere.
Shameless plug. Do what you got to do. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, hit the combine. Out in Saskatchewan, then had to wait to get drafted, waited for draft day. Got drafted the BC Lions. I think I was 33rd drafted. So got to get ready to go out west. I've never been out west, so it was I was pretty excited to go out west because for some reason, I don't know, but before the draft, I was talking about Vancouver for some reason, and somehow, some way, they ended up calling my name, and I ended up going out there. I was just kind of curious about Vancouver and what it is and what it looks like and all that. So it's kind of funny that they were the ones to sign me. So they signed me and went out there. It was a new world, that's for sure. That was the first time I really left home, so it was a big moment for me. At the same time, it was different. It was just something like a little bit challenging, but I handled that. It wasn't anything too crazy. Being able to go to training camp, it was a pretty rough training camp. Wally's a pretty old school type of guy, so he definitely knows how to run his team, but he's a smart guy at the same time. So he gets us ready for the games, and he gets people. He's been doing it for so long, and he's been so successful at it that So it was great to be, I guess, over there and see how a guy like that operates his team. There's other coaches that have also helped me out there. When I was there, I had a really good DB coach, Mark Washington, that that was, I guess, the first time I was able to kind of open my eyes to so like not like real coaching, but he had some very good details that he had to offer that I really just wanted to kind of pick up on everything, just learn a lot from him, learn a lot from the guys around me. That have been there, that have been doing stuff, that have been from, that come from other places, that come from the States, come from other coaching backgrounds, different kind of methods and techniques. So,
it's that fine tuning of your game, right?
Fine tuning. It's amazing the things that you can actually, pick up when you're actually around other type of guys that are, also really engaged and getting better at what they do. So it's just, it was a great time being out there. Also obviously the scenery in Vancouver, can't complain. It's beautiful out there. If you haven't been out there, everybody, you got to go out there. You got to go visit. But yeah, it was a great time to be out there. I loved it. It was a good experience. But yeah, it's also great to be home. So
what was the deciding factor on coming home? What made you want to come back?
So I've always wanted to play for the hometown. Yeah, I've growing up, I watched it was not the Red Blacks back then, it was the Renegades. After it was the Rough Riders. So growing up, my dad, I guess he had season tickets for the Red Blacks, and we used to watch we used to go all the games at Lansdowne. It was pretty much the same kind of thing that it was now, but I guess it's a little bit better of a culture now. It's maybe a little bit crazy back in the day. But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really seen many guys streaking on the field these days, so that's pretty good. I think as a kid, I'd probably seen 5 guys.
Oh yeah, I remember going to those Renegades games back then. They were pretty loose, especially when Montreal would come into town. It was
exactly.
Absolutely.
It was a party over there. So yeah.
Definitely a little more professional these days, for sure.
A lot more professional, I'd say. Yeah. So so basically, growing up, you see the big lights, you see, the guys playing. You love football when you're growing up. I'm already influenced. So, I'm watching the games and, this is what I see. This is what I want to do. So, growing up, obviously I've had the dream to play for the hometown. So that's the fact that they were able to call me up and sign me and pick me up. And we're going to be heading into camp whenever that can happen because of this COVID thing. I'll be looking forward to it, and I'll be more than ready to go.
Well, I really love that your journey has come full circle like that. I think it's really appropriate, talking about this list and this OHSF All-Decade team. It goes from an Ottawa high school to Carleton to coming right back to the pro team. So I think it's pretty fitting that, you do end up on this list and you end up as a hometown guy, because you definitely have always been I guess, in the spotlight of Ottawa in that sense. People have always kind of known who you were, and it's been pretty unanimous with the coaches as we spoke that you were somebody that we thought really influenced the game in the early 2010s and stuff. So we really appreciate your time, and really happy I got to talk to you and stuff about this. Congratulations on making this list.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the coaches out there. Thank you.
Yeah. You'll have to go back to ST.FX and thank your coaches there, and make sure you send them a thank you on that one. But,
that's great. Shout out, Mr. Jennings. Definitely shout out him. And another shout out to my dad. My dad was a high school coach as well, my high school coach. So
don't get back into it. It's not over.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all the best, Nathaniel, and congratulations again on the list. This was Nathaniel HAMLIN, who's now with the Ottawa Redblacks, who went to ST.FX. He is a DB on the OHSF All-Decade team, and more than happy to welcome him to the list. Congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care.